Why is the 10% tithe not practiced today in the same way as before? Has it been abolished and will it be restored in the future? This video is for reference purposes only. I highly recommend everyone to read the scriptures for much better understanding. This is the core foundation. What tithes actually is not modern idea. Tithes was never money-based system. It was a command connected to land, agriculture, Levitical priesthood, temple system. What is the Torah definition? Leviticus 27 verse 30, and all the tithe of the land, of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, belongs to Yahweh. It is set apart to Yahweh. Numbers 18 verse 21. And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Yasharal as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. Tithes are food from land. The purpose of this is to support Levites because they have no land inheritance. What is the main reason why tithing cannot continue today? Reason number 1, there is no Levitical priesthood functioning. Hebrews 7 verse 5. And truly those who are of the sons of Levi, who receive the priesthood, have a command to receive tithes from the people according to the Torah, that is, from their brothers, though they have come from the loins of Abraham. Only Levites were authorized to receive tithes. But in Hebrews 7 verse 12, for the priesthood being changed, of necessity there takes place a change of law also. When priesthood changed, the tithing system also changed. Reason number 2, there is no temple standing. Deuteronomy 12 verse 5 to 6. But seek the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses, out of all your tribes, to put his name there, for his dwelling place, and there you shall enter. And there you shall take your ascending offerings, and your slaughters, and your tithes, and the contributions of your hand, and your vowed offerings, and your voluntary offerings, and the firstlings of your herd, and of your flock. Tithes were brought to a specific place like temple. But today, there is no temple in Jerusalem, no altar, no Levitical service. The command cannot be fully executed. Reason number 3, tithes depended on the land of Yasharal. Deuteronomy 14 verse 22, you shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. Tithes are produced from the land and not global money system. Reason number 4, multiple tithes, system not just 10%. Scripture shows more than one tithe. Levitical tithe in Numbers 18 verse 21. And do not give any of your offspring to pass through to Molech, and do not profane the name of your Elohim. I am Yahweh. Festival tithe in Deuteronomy 14 verse 22 to 27. This passage reveals that the tithe is not a system of religious taxation, but a covenant practice of remembrance, obedience, and fellowship before Yahuwah. What is the core meaning of this passage? The tithe is the increase from the land given by Yahuwah, and it must be set apart year by year as a sign that all provision comes from him. The core truth of this passage is about the tithe is a land-based covenant meal system designed to keep the people connected to Yahuwah, train them in reverence, maintain community balance including the Levite, and center worship in the place Yahuwah chooses. It is not a modern money collection practice, but a physical, joyful, and obedient gathering before Yahuwah rooted in the land and his appointed place. Poor tithe in Deuteronomy 14 verse 28 to 29. At the end of every third year, you bring out all the tithe of your increase of that year and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the sojourner and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that Yahuwah, your Elohim, does bless you in all the work of your hand which you do. The total can exceed 10%. Modern 10% money system is incomplete and altered. Was tithing done away? Absolutely not. Not destroyed, but currently not operable. The law is not destroyed. Matthew 5 verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But some commands require conditions. If conditions are missing, the practice pauses. For examples, sacrifices was stopped because there is no temple. Levitical service were stopped. Tithes were stopped in full form. What replaced it in this current age? Giving is still required, but not Levitical tithing. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7. Let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not of grief or of necessity, for Elohim loves a joyous giver. Acts 4 verse 34 to 35. For there was not anyone needy among them, for all who were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of what was sold, and laid them at the feet of the emissaries, and they distributed to each as anyone had need. System shift. From law-bound tithes to spirit-led giving. Will tithing return in the last days? Sure it will, when kingdom order is restored. Ezekiel 44 verse 28 to 30. And it shall be to them for an inheritance. I am their inheritance. And you give them no possession in Yasharal. I am their possession. The grain offering and the sin offering and the guilt offering they are to eat, and all that is dedicated in Yasharal is theirs. And the first of all, the first fruits of all, and every contribution of all your contributions, belong to the priests. And the first of your ground meal you give to the priest, so that a blessing rests on your house. Malachi 3 verse 3 to 4. And he shall sit as a refiner and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse the sons of Levi, and refine them as gold and silver. And they shall belong to Yahuwah, bringing near an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Yehuda and Jerusalem be pleasant to Yahuwah, as in the days of old, as in former years. Levites restored, temple service restored, offerings and system return. The main reason why we cannot practice 10% tithes today because there was no Levitical priesthood, no temple, no command execution system. Modern tithing is not based in scriptural tithing. Tithe is not done away and not destroyed but currently inactive because condition-based law, and it will return during the last day when kingdom order restored. This is the time where Levites return, temple rebuilt, Torah fully operating. According to the scriptures, the original tithing was never about money. It was about order, provision system, obedience to Yahweh structure, while today tithing was about the heart test remains, but the system has shifted until restoration. First time tithes appeared was in Genesis 14 verse 20, and blessed be the Most High Almighty who has delivered your enemies into your hand, and he gave him a tenth of all. This was before Torah. This was Abraham to Melchizedek era. But the key truth most of people today miss are, this was not a command, not 10% law system, not repeated command. It was one-time act. Spoils of war and not income or money involve. Hebrews 7 verse 4. Now see how great this one was, to whom even the ancestor Abraham gave a tenth of the choicest booty. Why this matters. Hebrews 7 verse 11. Truly then, if perfection were through the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people were given the Torah, why was there still need for another priest to arise according to the order of Melchizedek, and not be called according to the order of Aharon? Two systems of tithing: the Levitical, law-based, command tithing, earthly temple, and the Melchizedek, higher order, no command to tithe, direct righteousness. The deep revelation was, Abraham did not tithe by law. He gave freely after victory. This connects to 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7. Let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not of grief or of necessity, for Elohim loves a joyous giver. Melchizedek order was free will giving, while Levitical order was a required system. Malachi chapter 3, this was the most misused passage. The verse people used to justify modern tithes. Malachi 3 verse 8, would a man rob Elohim? Yet you are robbing me. But you said, in what have we robbed you? In the tithe and the offering. The question is, who is this talking to? Malachi 1 verse 6, a son esteems his father, and a servant his master. And if I am the father, where is my esteem? And if I am a master, where is my fear? Said Yahuwah of hosts to you priests who despise my name. But you asked, in what way have we despised your name? This is not general people. This is addressing corrupt Levitical priests. What was the actual sin? Nehemiah 13 verse 10, and I learned that the portions for the Levites had not been given them, for each of the Levites and the singers who did the work had gone back to his field. People stopped giving. Levites abandoned service. The deeper issue was the whole system was collapsing. Priests corrupt, offerings defective, temple neglected. Storehouse is not church building. Malachi 3 verse 10, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, and let there be food in my house. And please prove me in this, said Yahuwah of hosts, whether I do not open for you the windows of the heavens, and shall pour out for you boundless blessing. Storehouse refers to temple food storage, not money box, not modern institution. The real message of Malachi are, to restore the order. Not pay 10% or be cursed. What will be in the last days, the full restoration pattern? This is where it gets deep. It was prophecy of restoration. Malachi 4 verse 4. Remember the Torah of Moshe, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb for all Yasharal, laws and right rulings. See, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. Torah restored. Prophets return. Ezekiel temple is the future system. Ezekiel 45 verse 17. And it shall be the prince's part to give burnt offerings. Ezekiel 44 verse 29 to 30. And on the prince are the ascending offerings and the grain offerings and drink offerings at the festival, the new moons, the Sabbaths, in all the appointed times of the house of Yasharal. He is to prepare the sin offering and the grain offering and the ascending offering and the peace offerings to make atonement for the house of Yasharal. Offerings return. Priesthood function returns. This means the tithing system returns only when true priesthood restored. Temple established. Land order returned. What is the connection to the book of Revelation about this matter? Revelation 11 verse 1. And a reed like a measuring rod was given to me, and the messenger stood, saying, Rise and measure the dwelling place of Elohim, and the slaughter place, and those worshipping in it. The temple returns in last days. Revelation 11 verse 18. And the nations were enraged, and your wrath has come, and the time of the dead to be judged. And to give the reward to your servants, the prophets, and to the set-apart ones, and to those who fear your name, small and great, and to destroy those who destroy the earth. Order plus reward system returns. This have a 3-time periods. Before Torah, there was Abraham free giving. There was no command. Then it was Melchizedek order. Then Torah system of Moshe. Command tithes. Levitical system. Temple-based. Lastly, the current age. No temple. No Levites functioning. Only giving by heart. In future restoration. Temple returns. Levites restored. Tithes plus offerings return. Tithing is not abolished. It is condition dependent. What is abolished is the forced system without structure. Man-made 10% money doctrine. What remains are righteous giving, supporting needs, obedience to Yahweh order. The deepest spiritual key of tithing was a shadow of trust, submission, kingdom order. Today you are tested not by law but by your heart alignment. What is the deepest mystery of tithing? The key verse was found in Hebrews 7 verse 9 to 10. And one might say that through Abraham even Levi, who received tithes, gave tithes, for he was still in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. What does this really means? Levi, priesthood, was still inside Abraham. When Abraham tithe converted to Levi, tithe through him. This proves deep revelation. Melchizedek to Levitical system, Hebrews 7 verse 7. And it is beyond all dispute that the lesser is blessed by the better. Melchizedek is greater. Levitical system is lower order. The massive key was if Levites who receives paid tithes paid. Then the system that collects tithes is not the highest. Hebrews 7 verse 18. For there is indeed a setting aside of the former command because of its weakness and unprofitableness. This refers that the Torah was not destroyed, instead the Levitical system set aside. The hidden truth is we are not under Levitical tithing system. We are called into Melchizedek order, which operates by righteousness, direct submission, not forced percentage. This is Acts community system, or real new covenant practice is what they actually did. Acts 2, verse 44 to 45. And all those who believed were together and had all in common, and sold their possessions and property, and divided them among all as anyone might have needed. Acts 4, verse 34 to 35. For there was not anyone needy among them. For all who were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of what was sold, and laid them at the feet of the emissaries, and they distributed to each as anyone had need. Notice this: no 10% command, no Levites, no temple system. This is the real shift from law-required giving to need-based distribution. The deeper truth is this system is higher than tithing. Why? Tithing required 10%, while Acts system focuses on everything available if needed. This is about heart test. Acts 5 verse 4. While it remained, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, was it not in your authority? Why have you conceived this deed in your heart? You have not lied to men, but to Elohim. Giving was voluntary, accountable to Yahuwah, not forced. This exposing modern 10% tithing system. The hard truth about modern system claims, you must give 10% money. If not, you are cursed based on Malachi chapter 3. Why this is false doctrine? Error number 1, wrong audience. Malachi was speaking to the Levitical priests and temple system, not modern people. Error number 2, wrong type of tithe. Scripture clearly told us this tithes is about food, grain, wine, oil. But the modern tithes claim that this is about money. Error number 3, there are no authorized receivers. In Numbers 18 verse 21, "And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Yasharal as an inheritance in return for the service which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. Only Levites receive tithes." Today there is no verified Levitical system. Error number 4, curse misapplied. In Malachi 3 verse 9, "You have cursed me with a curse, for you are robbing me, this nation, all of it." This was national judgment, not individual payment threat. The reality is the modern 10% system represents mixture, part Torah, part man-made structure. The connection of all these 3 tithe systems together are flow of truth. Abraham era in Genesis chapter 14 refer to free giving, no law, while Levitical system law required tithing structured system. Then Messiah order in Hebrews chapter 7 is about system change to an Acts community that need-based giving. The last days restoration is a full system returns according to Ezekiel. Tithing was never the goal. It was a training system for trust, obedience, order. Today's test is not about did you give 10%, the RSL questionnaire, but do you give when there is need? Do you hold back when you have abundance? Are you aligned with righteous order? The final verdict about this was, should Israelites today practice 10%? Not in Levitical form and also not as a forced law. This is not done away. It's just suspended until restoration, and it return. With temple, priesthood, kingdom government. Many today are trying to operate a system without its foundation. This creates confusion, burden, false doctrine. Malachi 3 verse 9, "You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation." What people think. If I don't pay 10%, I am cursed. But what the scripture actually shows this curse is national, covenant-based, agricultural judgment. The real curse defined. Deuteronomy 28 verse 15, "And it shall be, if you do not obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, to guard to do all his commands and his laws which I command you today, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you." Deuteronomy 28 verse 38. 8 to 40. "You take much seed out into the field, but gather little in, for the locust consumes it. You plant vineyards and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worm eats it. You have olive trees in all your border, but do not anoint with oil, for your olives drop off." Malachi confirms this in Malachi 3 verse 11, "And I shall rebuke the devourer for you, so that it does not destroy the fruit of your ground, nor does the vine fail to bear fruit for you in the field, said Yahuwah of hosts." Curse is about crops failing, land devouring produce, economic collapse through agriculture. The curse is not about money payment, it is about breaking covenant order. Why this does not apply the same today? It because there's no national Torah government, no temple system, no land-based covenant structure. So we cannot lift this verse and apply it directly to money today. How the system shifted. Land into money. You can read the original system in Deuteronomy 14 verse 23. "And you shall eat before Yahuwah your Elohim, in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil, and of the firstlings of your herds and your sheep, so that you learn to fear Yahuwah your Elohim always." Worship was agricultural, seasonal, land-rooted. What happened over time? Israel was scattered. Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. "And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone, that have been removed from land, temple destroyed, resulting shift into people lost. Land connection, tribal structure, priesthood order, then replaced into money economy. But money was never the original worship system. Deuteronomy 14 verse 24 to 25. "But when the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Yahuwah your Elohim him is blessing you, when you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand and go to the place which Yahuwah your Elohim chooses. If the way be too long for you, then shall you turn it into money." Money was only a transport tool, not the tithe itself. Modern system reversed this. They made money into tithe, but scripture made money into temporary exchange. What is the true meaning of first fruits? This is a command in Exodus 23 verse 19. Bring the first of the first fruits of your land into the house of Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. The first fruits is the first portion of increase before you use anything. This is deeper than agriculture. Proverbs 3 verse 9. Esteem Yahweh with your goods and with the first fruits of all your increase. This is the principle. Yahuwah first, not leftovers. Romans 8 verse 23. And not only so, but even we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we ourselves also groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. This is the highest meaning. First fruits is not just crops. It is your first energy, your first obedience, your first alignment. First fruits means giving your best first and prioritizing Yahweh, not waiting until you have extra. The final connection of all three is the full system of Torah system: land, tithes, first fruits, temple. The breakdown curse, i.e., disobedience, system collapse, land judgment, scattering, loss of structure, shift to money world, current age, no temple, no Levites. But the heart-based giving are restoration. First fruits returns into full form, tithes return with proper order, kingdom system established. The issue was never about 10%. It was about order, priority, trust. The real question today, not did you pay tithes, but what do you give first? What do you hold back? Where is your trust? Malachi curse is not about modern 10% money. It's about breaking covenant system, like money system, not original design that was just temporary, substitute for the first fruits. This is not just agriculture, but a life principle of putting Yahweh first. Many today keep a number of 10%, but never give their first. Scripture cares more about first, not percentage. Thank you for watching, and see you on my next video. May Yahuwah baruch us and guide us. Shalom, and have a great Yom.